to give credit to the creator of this video. Thank you so much. I just want to share it.
Channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for I stand corrected. So Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek Ramaswamy has called white Americans lazy. And the reason I'm saying he's talking about white Americans is because when people are talking about black Americans, they will say black people or black Americans. They want to specify that they're talking about black people. But when you say Americans, everybody assumes that he's talking about white folks. This is a spiritual moment, if anything. And Vivek Ramaswamy is the perfect person to say something like that. And the reason I say that is because the Asians have been elevated in America. The Asians are smart. The model minorities. The Asians, the Asians, the Asians. Well, Vivek Ramaswamy is a South Asian. He's from what they call the Indian subcontinent. I think I'm right about that. If I'm not, I'm sure y'all will correct me. But he's of the group that they have been elevating as being so intelligent. So when he says you're lazy because you focus on the wrong things, he says it's a default in the culture. Vivek's argument is that America needs to hire more skilled laborers from abroad, preferably from India, because he feels that American workers are not as skilled as these foreign workers. Now, guess what he blames it on? He blames the 1990s TV sitcoms for America needing to go abroad to hire workers in STEM programs because he says we're watching the wrong things on TV. He said people should be watching more movies like Whiplash and fewer reruns of Friends. He continued on X and said a culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zack and Slater over Screech in Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers.
He's not wrong.
He's saying America focuses too much on popularity and not on substance. Going to school to be popular as opposed to going to school to learn so that you will be productive in your work life after school. And this might surprise you, but I agree with him. Haven't we been complaining in Black America about the programming that's pushed off on Black people? Focusing just on Black people, Black Americans, our academic progress has been stifled by this country because there has never been an incentive, there has never been any kind of encouragement for Black Americans to be academically excellent. Now, in individual families, yes, and we do have academic excellence, but there has been a constant drumbeat and a constant narrative going around that Black people are not smart, Black people are not intelligent, Black people can't do this. And so, to reinforce the idea, the schools where Black people are in a majority have not been properly funded and have not been given the resources that they need to really produce world-class students. And I think we can all agree on that. So he is right there in that regard. Now the question is, what have white people been doing? They have not been stifled. They have been given the resources that they need to produce academically superior students. And I'm not saying that they don't produce any, but what he's saying is that they don't produce enough of them. Now the question is, are there enough white engineers and computer analysts and computer scientists and AI, artificial intelligence experts? Is there a deficit of them? Because they have been given the resources that they need. And that is why he's calling them lazy. Because he knows full well they haven't been held back. They've had the resources. Their schools have been funded the way they need to be funded. I think Ramaswamy was born in America, so he knows how the game works. He knows how they segregate and they try to segregate from Black people. And that is why it's important that he said what he said, a model minority who has had the opportunity to observe them all his life. He's in his 30s or 40s, so he knows exactly what he's talking about. Yes, they are lazy. Yes, they focus on the wrong things. Mainly what they focus on is black people. So they can't do what they need to do to move the country forward because they're so radar focused on black people. Listen to what this black man had to say, and then I'm going to add something.
I've never seen a trick played on some people so wisely and creatively as the immigrants, the Indian and Asian immigrants. Not no shade on them, but I believe that they are just some of the most ingenious people there are. And never have I seen a trick played on MAGA and white conservatives and people who espouse a specific ideology as I have seen played on them with the Asian and the Indian immigrants. These folks have done a masterful job of just using you all stupidly, making you look stupid while you were distracted, focused on black folks. They have come in, accumulated more wealth than any other group ever. They are the CEOs of the largest companies. Asians and Indians are the largest population in terms of their wealth, of the median income. You were distracted on black folks, and these folks have done a masterful job of just playing themselves or playing you as fools. They saw your weakness. Your weakness is racism, and they use that racism against you to now show exactly who they are and exactly what they want. They are against immigration, but not against their people coming in, the smart people coming in, the cultured people coming in. You dismissed our culture, but their culture can come in. They can tell you to your face and then block you and just annul your ability to make an income and do what you want to do because they know exactly what they were doing. They came in, they used your racism against you. Now you won't get a job. You're begging for Trump to ensure that your benefits are kept. They are smarter than you, and they used you or us against you. They knew your racism, and they were just masterful at playing three-dimensional chess while you were not even playing checkers. You were playing hopscotch.
Yes, they definitely got played. White America definitely got played. They thought that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk were on their team. These people are oligarchs. They are not on your team. They're on their own team. Now, the one thing about the Asians, they don't try to assimilate into white society the way black Americans do when they get their hands on some money. Vivek Ramaswamy, this is his family. He is married to an Indian woman. His children look like him. And when you look at the Chinese men, those men are married to Chinese women. They marry their own people. They stick together. They work together, and they accumulate. They are not interested in assimilating. They're interested in accumulating. And that is a lesson that we could learn from them going forward. They are calling white Americans lazy because they know that they are controlling America and they ought to be the most productive people in America, and they're not. And the reason they're not is because they never had to be, because black people have been carrying the load. But there's probably going to be a change, and the change is not going to be pretty. But we can sit back and watch and see what happens. Elon Musk and Ramaswamy now have shown their hand. But it's too late because now Trump is already in office. So it's going to be at least 4 years before this thing begins to turn around. So in those 4 years, as they say, we're going to have to stay on our knees. We're going to have to pray. We're going to pray hard that we get through it. We will. We always have. The lesson is not for us this time. Well, there might be a lesson for us, but the main lesson is for white people, and I fear they won't learn it.